Thank you. Yeah, so we do all kind of projects, and what we like to do in the projects we do is think about kind of the process we go through and the methodology. So normally when we present our work, we talk about what happened. So I hope it's going to work, but I quickly have to introduce a bit the project we are working on already for more than 2 years. So it's called Rules Park, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. So it's a project in India, and the client's name is Rules Park, and what they do is they develop a new energy products in India, and really they focus on the villages. So the starting point is always this: people who don't have access to the grid, who don't have access to energy. And they've been working on it for a while now, and there's some kind of a first pilot happened where they found out that a strong methodology is to work with what's called local energy suppliers. So there's a business model where people in a village get a solar panel and a router, I'll show it you later, and they rent out light in the beginning, and they charge mobile phones in their village. The super small innovation, we also worked on this in this phase. The super small innovation in this case is by making it a local energy supplier rather than just selling a product to a person, what a lot of other companies also do, is that there's a sense of responsibility coming with it. These people become entrepreneurs and they become responsible for the system. So that worked out well. And currently, the first pilot finished where there are 100 entrepreneurs in Bihar in India. It's the state in the northeast. So these are kind of the things that are happening now. Those black boxes are the energy router. They basically make from the solar panel 5 volt to charge whatever you want on 5 volt, mostly these lamps, and they rent them out. And here you see some smaller entrepreneurs, some bigger, and this person there, he even has 3 solar panels. It means he has maybe 40 customers to who he rents out these lamps. But the bigger vision of Rules Park is to link supply and demand through energy sharing. And I want to make a quick tour to smart grids for those of you who don't know what the idea behind smart grids are. So smart grids is developed. It's an idea that's already around very long, and there's a lot of research going on all over the world. So this, if you know about it, this is all wrong, but it explains it. So what we currently do, we use energy randomly whenever we need it, and the current energy production makes sure we also always have enough for the peak needs. But what if you would use upcoming distributed energy generation? You have these situations where people need more energy than there's currently available, and very obviously, on the average, there's more than enough sustainable energy to meet the demands. And what a smart grid tries to do is to link both the supply, so we need to know what is where in supply, to the demand. So we need to know what is needed where. So there's an extra thing, data. We need to know where all the energy is going and what people need. Okay, now I'm going back to India. So the vision for these 100 entrepreneurs that are already there, that we make it into this kind of model. So where different villages with different entrepreneurs share energy through battery packs. So the demand is very low, or the usage is very low, I have to say, because the demand is huge. But the usage currently is light and mobile phones. So you can easily store this in battery packs, and you can exchange it. And ideally, of course, you would exchange it between different sources. So here we see 2 solar panel entrepreneurs. There's a biogas entrepreneur. And also, of course, there are some villages connected to the grid. The grid is like a sustainable energy source there. It's unreliable. Every now and then it works. So it also needs a smart use of it. So this is all just the starting point for actually the story I want to tell, so the project we did. Because what already happened in Rules Park is that the idea was we have to increase the energy infrastructure. We have to make more products. And that then enable more demand of energy, so people need to share. There's a higher need to make the grid, the small grid we're building, more efficient. the big question is how is this trade of energy surpluses going to work? So this is where we started with, I think half a year ago in a few phases, and I'm going to talk about the last phase. So in November, December, we've been in India and we did hidden design. I don't go too deep into what hidden design means, but we did a project there in the field. And it always starts with, okay, our big idea is we have to try it out. And so it starts with a plan, how could this work? So I'm not going to explain too much about this huge scenario sketch thingy, but the important is that there is some energy generated, so there are some solar panels in this drawing. There's a marketplace, whatever that's going to be, and there's some usage of energy, so these television sets in a school that don't generate their own energy. So that if we would manage this, we would be happy. So now I'm just quickly going to go through what actually happened. And I just go through a few days what we did and what we encountered when we were doing this project. So the idea was to roll this out in 6 of the 100 entrepreneurs that were already there. So one of the things we did is installing new entrepreneurs with this new energy router that had these battery packs on it. And then, of course, a lot of things are happening here. First of all, we entered the lives of these people who don't really do a user test or a pilot. They actually work as local energy suppliers. So there's some tension there, where we have to make sure that we keep this system working. I just some images of what was happening there. So we changed. Some people use more energy, or we changed the solar panels there. And this is how it looks in the houses. Very much, they call it jugaad, so they hack around a bit that it works. And so this is one of the new energy routers, where you see this person now charges, apart from the lamps, they charge some battery packs. And the interesting thing is, because there's huge cultural things happening, of course, and we don't speak the local language, but we do know that we want to make it real. And we want to make sure that the feedback we get is honest. So we don't want to say too much. We're piloting too much. And then one of the things that can happen is that we ended up in the newspaper there, which is not always so good because we don't need too much attention. But actually, this concrete, we didn't really notice any impact. The bigger problem, what was happening, is that we were working with prototypes, and they were kind of breaking down. So this is in the hotel where we fixed the prototypes. And for example, we built in also for monitoring. So in few of the cubes, we put in GPS trackers so we could see whether they would actually spread. So okay, we had these entrepreneurs who now could charge extra energy and they could save it in this battery pack. But of course, no trading of energy was going on. So we needed to install a node in the system that needs energy. And we were kind of hoping that they were maybe going to trade between each other. This was not happening. So we needed to push this extra demand. And we came up with the idea of a school, because this is where they, during the day, need energy. And we thought the focus might be on using this energy rather than getting involved as a local energy supplier, because you already run your school. So we work with translators, of course, and with people who know the actual context. So we have to brief them to make sure they do how we intended it, but also to leave some creativity open. This is always a very complex step. Basically, when we manage to get this person to understand what we do, we are kind of done. We observe what's going to happen. This is one of the schools we went to, and this is the system we installed there. So this time, no light or mobile phone. We have a small DC television set with a USB pen drive with some educational videos, and they could run it on these cubes. So you see it in the classroom. So then we had these few entrepreneurs who could charge the battery packs, and we had this person who wanted the battery packs. Then still not much happened. So these people, we needed to set up an exchange point, we called it. And we kind of figured out that this was a very complex story. Okay, there are going to come people with battery packs and they want to, well, we thought we needed a tool for this. And luckily in India they can make everything. I'm just going to quickly show these. We made another tool here. So the first tool was a box and a marketplace where people could exchange their cubes. Then we made even a phone line, because this person at the marketplace, he had too much of an own opinion. We made a phone. I'm going to just quick. Yeah, the thing is, he's going to also involve in the system, and also the people, it was too far walking. Anyway, I just want to show you where we ended quickly. So the current situation is that there are the two schools at the moment. One school is very interesting. They kind of hacked the system. They have their own solar panel, found it somewhere, and they charge it now locally. The other found the local entrepreneurs who can charge these cubes, and they work with these cubes. We monitored a lot, and also we did interactive things with the client at the end. They came to the spot and we handed over the pilot. And I think it's also a learning lesson is to give a working pilot to a client is very interesting, to give them the starting point of what still has to be done. But yeah, I'm already cheating a lot, so I think I leave it here. Thanks.
Thank you.